You can study in the morning, you can study at night. You can study outside by a campfire light. You can study with the Rabbi.
20 years ago this week, I was living in Waltham, Massachusetts. And it was a Shabbat afternoon, and I'll never forget this. At the time, I wasn't watching TV on Shabbat, wasn't using electronics, and one of my friends, Greg, ran down the street to my apartment and told me that Yitzhak Rabin had just been murdered, that he had just been shot. Of course, we immediately turned on the news to find out what was going on. 20 years ago, that was a stunning moment in my life. That was, I'm sure for many others, you remember where you were when JFK was shot. I remember where I was when Yitzhak Rabin was shot and murdered. Just a couple of days ago, there was a rally in Tel Aviv marking 20 years since his assassination. And that rally was a gathering of people who yearn for peace, who yearn to continue his legacy, to continue the tikva, the hope that he had, that we could indeed live side by side with our Palestinian neighbors. And at that rally, President Clinton, who was a dear friend of Yitzhak Rabin, spoke. I don't think any of us will ever forget, right after Rabin was killed, how Clinton said, "Shalom chaver," goodbye, my friend. He said at this rally, he said, "We have to stand for peace. The risks of peace are not as severe as the risks of walking away from it." And he said, "Those of us who loved Prime Minister Rabin and who love your country are praying that you will make the right decision." Beautiful words. Words that I'm sure Rabin would have appreciated. I struggled with them, though, because on the one hand, a lot has changed since 20 years ago. On the other hand, it feels very much the same. If it were only up to us, if it was only us that had to stand for peace, if it was only us that had to realize that the risks of peace are not nearly as severe as the risks of not working for peace, if it was only us that had to make the right decision, then I would be able to say, yes, President Clinton, yes. But it isn't only us. Surely we have to make those decisions, and there are many who would argue that the Israeli government has not yet made those decisions. But us making those decisions alone is not enough. We cannot unilaterally decide to want peace. We have got to have a partner on the other side. And while many people were worried about Yitzhak Rabin's belief that he had a partner on the other side, there are many today, and I include myself amongst them, who worry that we have a partner on the other side. Maybe if we make the decision first, then they will come to the table. Maybe. But I worry that it all falls on us over and over again. I worry that there is a sense that if only Israel would make the right decision. Israel is the democracy, after all, right? Doesn't it have to stand up to a higher standard? Doesn't it have to be held to a higher standard? Perhaps. But is that enough? Is it enough for us to make the right decision? I wish it were.
Talking Torah.